Okay guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be working on this dog gate for my upstairs because the one that I have right now gets, pressurized between the two walls and we have to keep moving it back and forth. The dogs jump over it. Every time we want to go into the family room, then we have to move the gate out. We're scratching the moldings and it's scratching the floor, ruining the sheetrock. It's getting me real pain. So it's time we start working on this. Let's rough it out. Okay everybody, so what I'm going to do is I'm working with some rough 5/4 poplar here, so I'm going to start roughing out the dimensions and marking everything off, the sides, the slats, the stiles, the rails, everything I need. Then I'm going to cut it down on the miter saw to more manageable pieces because it's much easier to mill it up that way. Okay, now, so over at the miter saw, what I'm going to do is cut some extra off the ends and make sure there's no checking or anything like that so I can get rid of it. You don't want that in the workpiece, as I explained in other videos. So I'm going to remove that, and then I'm going to start cutting out the other pieces oversized so that when I mill them, I can get rid of any snipe marks or anything from the planer. Now this board in particular is wider than my 8-inch jointed bed, so I'm going to cut off a little bit to make it fit, and since it's still rough, it has some cupping and twisting, I'm going to do that over at the bandsaw. If I was to do that at the table saw, it would be much more dangerous because of the twist in the board. It would pull it in towards the blade, there could be a kickback, so you never want to do that on the table saw. The bandsaw is a great option for this when it's in rough shape. Now I'll take a few passes over at the jointer to flatten one face. After I mill that face flat, I'll put it up against the fence and I'll make one edge 90 degrees to that face. Now I'm going to make these boards parallel to each other through the thickness planer. I'm only going to take off about 1/8 of an inch because I want these to sit overnight to make sure that before I mill them to their final dimensions, there's no moisture to warp and twist them again. And with that being said, the best thing to do to leave them overnight is to sticker them, and that just means placing pieces of wood in between them so they don't touch each other and they can air dry all around. Over at the bandsaw, I'll rough out some stock for the feet. Cutting the feet to their final dimensions at the miter saw, so I set up a stop block so all the parts are equal. Now over at the table saw, I can trim them to their final dimensions, which is going to be 2 inches by 2 inches all squared. Now I'm passing the rough stock through the table saw after remilling it again down to 3/4 of an inch. So now it's all dried out and squared up and surfaced on all 4 sides. So I'm going to cut those all to 2 inches. These are my stiles, rails, and my slats. Now I'm going to trim up all the pieces with the stop block at the miter saw here. I'm going to square up one end, then hit the stop block and cut them to the size that I need. These are the pieces that are going to make up the side gates. And we're going to work on the side gates first so that I can do a mock-up and get an exact measurement for the center door. This way, nothing is to guesswork and math. Okay, now so to get the closest to accurate measurement that I want for these inside slats, I'm clamping the frame assembly of one side of the gate together the way it's going to sit. Everything's flush, the ends are flush, top's flush, and what I'm going to do is mark the center at 1 inch. And what this is going to do is give me a reference point to put the dowel machine on to make the dowel holes so that everything lines up. Pretty much just like using a biscuit joiner. If you haven't seen the video I did on biscuits versus dowels, go ahead back on my channel. It's about 2-3 videos back and check that out. And now using the reference mark that I just made, I'll put the dowel machine on those marks and drill the holes for the dowels. Now just a quick dry fit test with the dowels to make sure everything lines up, and then I'll put it in the clamps dry, and this way we can get a measurement for the slats. Okay, so this is one of the sides of the gate. This is going to be on the left side. They'll have another one that matches it on the right side, and then in the center will be the barn door. So what I'm going to do to get the spacing on this is, you see I have the center slats down. I want them to be 1.5 inch spacing, so I milled down some of the lumber. It's all 3/4, so 3/4 is 1.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is use that as my spacer blocks. I clamp them together, and I'm going to have those sit in there at each end, and that's how I'll mark it off and know exactly where I'm going to drill for the dowels. So I also need to get the center of these, which is 1 inch. So I'm going to mark my centers, and that'll be my line. And now I'm going to make sure it's butted up against there. Take a square, Just going to transfer that line onto both pieces. After drilling all the dowel holes, it's time for the glue up. The dry fit was good, so I'm going to start with the center slats first, because once I get those in, I'll be able to put the side stiles on and close everything up and clamp it. If I do the side stiles first, I'm never going to be able to get the center slats in. And once everything's assembled, we'll go ahead with the clamp up and let this set overnight. I'm going to run some dados in the feet so that the side gate assemblies have somewhere to sit. Now I'm going to mark 1.25 inches down and 1.25 inches from the dado, and I'm going to connect that with a straight edge, and I'm going to cut a taper in each of the feet. The easiest place to cut that taper is over at the bandsaw. Now after you cut the taper on a bandsaw, the pieces are going to be kind of ratty, so I'm just going to clean them up with a low angle block plane. I'll put some glue in the dados of the feet, and I'll screw them into the bottom of the gates. And I made sure that I pre-drilled and countersunk these holes first, where you would split the wood. And there is one of the two side gates. The other one I'll assemble off camera.
Okay, so now the parts that I had milled up previously, I just cut up to 2.5 inches for the stiles and rails. This is going to be the center door, or the barn style door that's going to go in between those two gates. So I'm going to join these the same way with the dowels, but before I glue them up, I'm going to cut a groove in the center about 3/8, 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch thick, and then I'm going to resaw some boards, and those are going to slide into the groove, and then the thing could be completely glued up. This way they'll be encapsulated in there, but they're not going to be glued, they're going to be just floating loose, but they will have room for expansion and contraction because I'm going to have the groove a little bit deeper than I need, so that this way they're not, bottoming out against the bottom and the top and then being forced against the sides. If they do expand for temperature reasons, they won't bust this thing open.
Using a dado stack and a feather board at the table saw, I'm going to run a groove through all the stiles and rails of the barn gate, and that groove is going to be for the center panels of the barn door. Now this is where it can get tricky with dowel joinery. I don't want the grooves in the stiles to go all the way from top to bottom, because then you would see them and they'd be exposed. So what I'm doing is stop dados. I'm dropping down the board where the dowel starts and the rail ends, and then I'm going to lift it as I get through, and that's going to have the dado only run through enough where it's not going to be exposed at the top or the bottom. Now I can resaw the center panels for the inside of the barn gate. And now with the rails clamped to one stile with the dowels in place, I'm going to insert the center panels for the barn door with no glue. They need to expand and contract and be able to move. Okay, now for some of the finish work. First I'm going to be spraying a primer, and then it's going to be 3 additional coats of white paint. And now at this point, before I started painting, the whole project has been sanded down to 150. And now I'm going to be installing some rubber feet on the bottom of these, so I'm just using a piece of 3/4 scrap as a spacer, and I'm going to pre-drill and screw the feet in. And now I'm going to be screwing this into the wall here through the baseboard into the kick plate wall stud, and you can see one of my dogs is watching me. He's like, what the hell's going on? I'm going to install these small barn-style hinges, each rated at 13 pounds, and that's 26 pounds with the two of them. The door doesn't weigh that much, trust me. Now I set up some blocks underneath the middle gate, and that's going to help me install it on these hinges and get it exactly where I need it, line it up right. Now I'm going to install this latch. It's for an outdoor fence. I thought it looked kind of cool and matched the barn theme, so I'm going to go with that. It's really easy to install. I'm just going to first put it on the door where I want it. I'm going to pre-drill, screw it in, and then I'll put the latch part of it up, and I'll engage it, and then pre-drill there, screw it all in so it lines up. And now the true test.
You guys want to go for a walk? Who wants to go for a walk? Come on, let's go. Hurry up. Come on, let's go. Come on, babies. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Come on. Go for a walk.
I hope everybody enjoyed the video. This was a real fun project, and I hope you guys will subscribe and hit the notification button, and I'll see you next time in my shop.